Actually,
What was the hard thing?
we're in the easy.
Taylor.
Really?
What's polar equation? Is polar equation easy? Radiant systems.
It could be worse.
Yeah,
That's a little bit harder. It's the way you navigate the ship. What degree are you looking at? And how you said. It's like if you say pop quiz. What is arc length?
F prime prime of x squared.
Is that back? Is that facts? You passed my pop quiz.
You are the one named the question.
It's one minus.
Plus, but is it squared?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's plus.
It's plus, yeah. Plus. What are we talking about? Huh? Arc length formula.
Okay, we're gonna start with the polar equation. Those of you guys take pre-calc with Shapiro, you probably learned this already. Those are people that did not, you probably have to relearn again. So I'm gonna start from the very beginning. You have Cooper. Cooper will teach you too. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the polar coordinates. So those of you guys never seen polar coordinate, it looks like this. And you can do it on Desmos as well. So Marcos, shut up. So it's gonna look like this. You go click here and click polar, and you guys have to figure out how to use it on a calculator. So you guys can. There was a way to type in polar function on calculator, so I want you to get a calculator out and to try to figure out. I have no idea how to do that because I don't know I don't know how to use Inspire.
Oh, it's in polar. Oh, yeah. You know what do I do? So it's R1 of theta.
TI-3.
What is R1 of theta equal? That's the radius.
Wait, is there a difference between A3 and A4?
Why are you using that one?
Because I don't.
Where's your TI-84?
I'm finding it.
Oh, that's replaced for theta.
I have it.
What did you learn?
Not-
How did you make a big circle?
So I'm just gonna type in random things. I'm gonna say it's R equal to. That just means radius is equal to 2. You can actually type in that. Use your TI computer because you need to use your TI on your.
Oh, your window.
What do you put?
Function.
Oh, R.
Complicated, bro.
It just looks like.
Wait, what did you find? What did you put?
You guys know how to use polar coordinate, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to start with the polar coordinates. So polar coordinate is composed of is R and theta. R is the direct distance, and there's a direct angle. So this is the direct distance, and this is a direct angle. Okay, so those are the two things. First, you can say, well, hey, I have a point. And the point is going to be 2 and the pi over 4. So pi over 4 is going to be right here. And this right here. Right? Pi over 4 is along this line.
0 is the right line?
So if you do 2, that means radius 2. So this is going to be a 2, comma, pi over 4. So that means the second, when the radius is equal to 2, that means the second concentrated circle. And go to pi over 4. So usually I do pi over 4 first, even though it's r theta. I will do the direction angle first, and then I will do how many r is, because that's easier to recognize. But your coordinate is going to be r theta.
Are you recording this?
Yes. Do you not understand?
No, I
Okay. So the one interesting thing is the polar coordinate has infinite amount of coordinate represent exact same thing. Does that make sense? Infinite amount of coordinate to represent exact same coordinate. If you use Cartesian coordinates, you can only do a maybe 1, 1 or something like that. This one have infinite amount of way to do it. So you can actually do 2 and what?
5 all the way around.
All the way around. So it's 9 pi by 4, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But you can also do negative r as well. You can do -2. Why -2?
because of that.
Yeah, so you can go to, that says 5 pi by 4. So if I were to go to 5 pi by 4, so 5 pi by 4 is roughly like right here, right? This is 5 pi by 4.
Yeah.
And this is the center, but I'm going to go back to, is to represent same exact coordinates.
wait, what?
This three are the same exact coordinate. If you go to 5 pi by 4 and go back -2, so instead of going forward to +2, I can go backward to -2. It's going to represent same exact angles. Zayden, are you confused? Are you okay?
No.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the way to think about this is, if you ever have r theta, that can be represents r, comma, theta plus 2m pi. Why? Because I can plus multiple 2 pi's, or r of theta can go to -r
2 what pi? 2 n pi? Oh,
2m pi. N's a natural number. Theta plus 2m plus 1 pi. That means r pi. Because if you go the other side, you only go to half circle. Does that make sense? They all represent the same thing. So there are more than one coordinate represent the same thing.
2 wait, that says theta plus 2 n pi and 2 n pi plus 1.
2m plus 1 pi. Let me know if I'm going too fast.
Wait, and what does that represent?
They all represent our data. So for example, I can have, this is a negative, right? And from pi over 4, I just add a pi because I go half circle and it's go backwards. It represents the exact same thing. Don't just say okay. If you don't understand, don't understand.
No, because you're going to the other quadrant, and then because it's 5 pi over 4, then you have to go back.
So your r can be negative. So
If it's negative, then that means it's just on the other.
yeah, going the crossing, going diagonal of that direction angle.
And then the 5 pi over 4 is just what brings it back. Yeah.
So here, I'm gonna give you coordinates. That says, I don't know, 5 and a 5 pi over 6. I want you to give me two different things. One is positive r and one is negative r. But also represent same exact coordinates.
Let's give you exact ones.
Yep. Exact same coordinate, but one is positive r, one's negative r.
Yes.
I'm missing more than Kelly and Yuli. Who else I'm missing? Is it?
So empty without.
It feels empty. Yulia and Kelly. Somebody else is missing. Huh? Matt here. Oh, because Armin's never. Armin, you gotta speak a lot more. He's got bad back. He want a comfortable chair. He's like, yeah.
Well, that one you can start with that because it's closest. I mean, I thought about it. I just said 2.
Did you guys figure out the coordinates? So it can be a. So this is just, it can be 5, right? And the 5 pi over 6 at pi, because you go to pi, it's going to negative, it's going to go back to the other side. Does that make sense? It's fairly easy. Are we okay here? Okay. Flashback from what? Okay, so we got 2 different type of coordinate. We have a rectangular coordinate, also known as a Cartesian. C-A-R-T. How to spell Cartesian? So Cartesian and rectangular. So in term polar, we usually use Cartesian. Devin, don't piss me off. Thank you. Supposed to be focusing. Like even you here, you're not focusing. So Cartesian coordinate is x comma y, right?
Yeah.
Polar coordinate is distance from the pole and the angle, but usually it's in radians. So how do I convert the 2 comma 2 to polar coordinates? Any idea to convert a rectangular coordinate?
A squared equals b squared equals c
Yeah.
squared.
Good.
Define the radius.
Oh, no? Inverse tree?
Sort of. Yeah, almost there. Okay, we'll get there. So all the formula you need is right here.
Oh.
Are we wrote down for you? Cosine of theta is equal to x over r, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. Sine of theta is y over r. You learned this before. Now, can I change that orientation? Can I change multiply r on both sides? I'm gonna get x equal to r cosine theta. Y is equal to r sine theta. Okay? And on the bottom, I have x squared plus y squared equal to r squared. Also, tangent to theta equal to y over x. So my objective is change 2 comma 2 to polar coordinate. And also able to change back to rectangular coordinates. So you can convert from one coordinate to the other coordinate and then convert back. Does that make sense? So if I have a 2 comma 2, right? Without calculator. So 2 comma 2. That's the x and y. So with the x and y, I can find out the first thing is r. How do I find r? 2 squared plus 2 squared is equal to r squared. So that's equal to 4 plus 4 equal to r squared. R squared equal to 8. R is equal to 2 root 2 plus minus. You can get plus, you can get minus. Is that okay? So I'm just gonna get with 2 positive. 2 square root 2. How do I figure out the direction angle? Well, I can do tangent of data is equal to 2 over 2. And the tangent data is equal to 1. Data must be pi over 4. So you can do 2 root 2 and pi over 4. That is going to be a 2 comma 2. Am I going too fast? Fairly easy. I find out what radius is. Well, we call it radius, but it's actually distance from the pole. Pole is the origin. And then you find out the angle by using inverse 10. Got it? Now, how do I convert back? So remember here, I write down this, you can convert back. Is this okay? So I can plug in. I can say x equal to 2 root 2 cosine of pi over 4. That's equal to 2 root 2 times square root 2 over 2. 2 cancel out. That's going to be 2. Do you see that? Brenda, can you help me answer that?
Mr. User.
Don't tell me Devin's leaving.
Is who here? Ilya? I need you in the media center.
Oh, you need to check the inventory for the
With your
computer.
computer. Probably.
No, you're not in trouble. Just go after.
Okay. I would try about it not. Huh? Oh, before Pearl then.
Yeah, before pro. Okay, so y, right? I can plug in. Well, same thing, 2 root 2. And then sine of pi over 4. And that's equal to 2 root 2. Square root 2 over 2. That's equal to 2. So I just convert back. That's just a very simple one. Questions? So I'll give you one. You got to convert forward and convert backwards. But I'm going to give you a negative one. So negative 1 square root 3. I usually will draw it. Yeah, to polar coordinate and change from rectangular to polar, polar to rectangular. You gotta be cautious about this angle. So for me, I'll actually draw it out where they locate at, which quadrant locate at, so you can figure out your angle better. Because you got when you do 10 inverse, when you do solving for data, you're gonna get 2 type of angle, but only one angle is gonna give me that specific directions. So this is a review of pre-calc. It's not even like calculus. I'm just gonna go fast on reviews.
I know, but I'm saying, if the angle is here, there's 2 minus 2. Yeah. That's why I said be careful of the angle. Because this, if you plot, it's negative and up. This quadrant. It could be 2 pi over 3, or it could be on this side.
Here.
Ah. And it's 2, 4.
Okay, now I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know.
I get you.
How many guys don't get it? Raise your hand. Beta, you got it? Don't just nod. If you don't get it, don't get it.
I'll let you know.
Marcos? Brenner? Devin?
Good, so I have one question. Cosine is negative 1/2 in 2 places.
Okay, so first of all, I'll always draw it out. So that just say if I have this case, right? So if I have this case, I will draw it out. So I will say, hey, this is a -1. This is -1. I'm gonna say -1 is here, and square root 3/2 is gonna be, let's say, roughly 1.7. So that is gonna be right here. So this is gonna be square root 3, and this is gonna be -1. So I know that I'm gonna figure out what R is first. So it'll be square root 3 square times -1 square plus equal to c squared. So c squared equal to 4, c is equal to 2. Is that okay? Now I'm gonna say inverse 10. 10 of theta is equal to -1 over square root 3. Now what you can do is you can rationalize this. So it'll be square root 3 over square root 3.
Wait.
So tangent of theta is equal to square root 3. Wait, it's the other way,
Y
right?
over X.
It's y over x,
So
my
it's
fault.
negative square root 3.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I make a mistake, sorry. So I here is gonna be square root 3 -1. So tangent of theta is equal to negative square root 3. Now here's the thing, theta can be 2 choices. Which 2 choices can it be? 2 pi over 3 and what? 4 pi over 3? 5 pi over 3, good. Okay, so if you have this choice, which one's a good choice? Well, since it's on the second quadrant, when you draw it, it's the second quadrant. This has to be 2 pi over 3. Is that okay? So therefore, it's gonna be the 2 and 2 pi over 3. And you can also plug in x. So if you want to convert back, I can say x equal to r cosine theta. So r is 2. Cosine of 2 pi over 3. What is cosine of 2 pi over 3? -1/2, right? So it'd be -1. Is that okay? Y equal to r sine theta. So it'd be 2 sine of 2 pi over 3, which is r is 2, and this is square root 3 over 2. So it'd be 1 square root 3 in this. I convert back. I don't know why you need a cosine. When you ask me a cosine question, I don't need a cosine, I just need to know what the tangent of inverse is. What do you mean, like, when you ask me cosine, though? Devin? When you ask me cosine, you say cosine has 2 values, so when do you need to use cosine here? That's what I'm asking.
I use cosine theta equals x plus 1.
No, but you have to first multiply over and then.
Yeah, multiply over and just they will dictate what is the data is. Zayden, good? Okay. So we're just going very fast track of this. So you can convert rectangular to polar, polar, rectangular. So we did all that. We just did this one. And this is the work of it.
Are you doing this in pre-code right now?
No,
It's
But-
FAT.
They don't even teach that.
they do.
In AP?
Yeah. They don't teach conic.
Oh.
And they don't teach log sine, log cosine. And which is kind of crazy because log sine, log cosine is kind of important for triangles.
They
but-
don't teach it.
Log sine, log cosine.
Oh, I don't.
I don't remember this cosine, but I remember this.
I didn't remember it's like 9 a.m. radio.
All right. So we need to be able to convert from polar equation to rectangular equation. We just convert a coordinate. A coordinate to polar to rectangular, rectangular to polar. That's pretty easy. How do you change a polar equation to rectangular equation? That becomes kind of interesting. So let's start with the one. Let's start with r equal to 2. How do I change this to a rectangular equation? Yep, you're right. Because r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared.
Yes.
So can I just replace that as 2? 2 squared equal to x squared plus y squared. So 4 equal to x squared plus y squared. You just change this to a rectangular equation.
Yes.
You don't even need the data.
You don't even need a data. Yeah, you don't need a data because r equal to 2. That's just, this is one of the equation I told you right here, right? Did you guys copy down those equations here?
What?
What?
No.
This equation.
No.
X squared plus y squared equal to r squared. Tangent of theta equal to y over x.
Oh.
What's wrong?
Wait, can you go back to the
Yeah. So I just convert from a polar to rectangular. Is that okay? So what happens if you have data equal to pi over 3? First of all, do you know what data equal to pi over 3 look like?
Yeah.
We know r equal to 2. We know r equal to 2 is radius 2, right? What does data equal to pi over 3 look like? What is it?
What? What do you mean, what is it?
It's
If I were to convert a rectangular equation, what kind of equation would it be?
like a
Oh, linear.
Thank you, linear. Right. So you technically
It's slope. It's the same.
like look at this equation like pi over 3 is like this. Just this line. That's data equal to pi over 3.
line?
Oh, it's not reacting, sorry.
Oh, we're on a completely. I'm always trying to make sense of like nothing on it.
Why you don't get? Duh. I'm talking about this line.
Okay.
It's actually a straight line, right?
No, so you can, oh, you can go negative.
So this line is gonna have some type of slope. What kind of slope is that? It's a linear equation, right? So it's a linear equation. So what kind of slope would you get? It is constant. No, you're right. It's a constant. What would it be? Yeah. Square root 3. No, I mean, you just know that it's pi over 3. It had to be square root 3 over 1, right? Because your y value has to be square root 3. Your x value has to be 1. So your slope is going to be square root 3 over 1. Does that make sense?
Fully one. But that's the tan though.
That's the 10.
Yeah.
That's y over x, but that's right.
Ah.
If I divide it over, what am I going to get? So I just convert this to the polar, to a rectangular equation. You want to try one? So that says theta is equal to pi over 4. What would it be? If I convert the polar equation, what would it be? Y equal to x. Because you got 1 comma 1.
You just rearrange it and go back to the same thing.
R equal to secant theta. R equal to secant theta. Oh, I'm sorry, I read it wrong. R equal to secant theta. R equal to secant theta. What would be this polar? What would be this rectangular equation?
Secant theta equals x squared plus. No, secant theta squared equals x squared plus y squared.
What?
Wait, what?
How do you convert a polar equation? Oh, sorry, rectangular.
Bro.
How do I convert to?
What's going on? It's 1 minus 10.
R equal to secant theta? How do you convert this?
No.
That's what you said.
Wow.
No, it's easier.
Easier.
It's easier than that.
Easier than that.
What is secant of theta? Does that look familiar? Can I multiply both sides by? What is R cosine theta?
X.
R times x over 3. X over R.
I just converted to rectangular.
Whoa. I haven't done x. Oh. So it's a straight line?
It's a horizontal line, not only a straight line. It's a, oh no, sorry, it's a vertical line.
That's what I mean.
So we convert from polar to rectangular. This is like a pre-cal, very fast pace.
Can you explain the theta equals pi over 3 equals y equals root 3x?
So, okay, so I hear pi over 3, right? You can say, well, the pi over 3, if I have a tangent of pi over 3 is what?
Root 3 over 2.
No. What is the tangent of pi over 3? It's square root of 3, right? Yeah, but square root of 3 over 1, right? So when do you have so this one is a y, this one's an x. So that means the right is square root of 3 over 1. So it has to be theta is equal to, theta is equal to, has to be y equal to root 3 x. Okay, so let me ask you questions here now. Or you can do it this way though. If you have theta equal to pi over 3, right? You can tangent of theta equal to tangent of pi over 3, and that's equal to tangent of theta. That's equal to square root of 3. This is y over x. Square root of 3, y equal to square root of 3x. That's probably a better way to look at it. All right, last one. R equal to -6 cosine of theta. Sorry, this one I'm going to help you because I'm going to start with this one. So this one is kind of interesting. This one is going to be a little bit harder than normal. So what should I do? Now, if you realize I can change to 1 over secant and secant to the other side, but secant r is not one of the identities, right? So I'm going to implement what Emil suggested earlier. What did Emil suggest earlier? She might forgot already, but I remember what he said. Almost. What do you do first step?
That's what I said. I said square it equals x squared plus y squared.
Yeah, you don't want to square it though.
That's what I said.
R cosine?
You don't want to square it, but you wanted to have r squared though. You don't want to square both sides, but you want to have r squared. How do you do that? Thank you, Devin. Good job.
Oh, okay.
Do you see that you're gonna hit 2 birds, 1 stone? Why? Because you're gonna add r squared equal to -6 r cosine theta. Do you see that? Wait, what's r cosine theta? So this side is gonna be x squared plus y squared equal to -6x. And you're like, wait, what is this? What is this? Does anybody know what it is? This is complete as yes. So plus 6x equal to plus y squared here equal to 0. And I'm gonna erase this. I move it to the other side. And I'm gonna say, okay, well, 6 divided by 2 squared, that's equal to 3 squared, that's equal to 9. So it's gonna be plus 9 plus 9. So it's gonna be x plus 3 squared plus y squared is equal to 9. It's a center of a circle with a radius of 3 and -3. So if you graph this on your decimal right now, it's gonna give you a circle shift to the left with a radius of 3.
That's cap.
Let's try it.
That's cap.
No, that's not a circle. That's an oval.
Why is it oval?
Oh, no, it's a window. How do I change it?
It's just the other dimension.
Yes, yeah.
No, it's the same.
It's a circle.
Why is it showing as an oval?
Let's see.
That's not my answer.
Are you in radians?
How do you expect him to? Yeah. It might be that's the window, but I don't know how to.
What are the dimensions? You're supposed to put in.
I can make it close.
If you grab on decimal, it's gonna be like that. But I don't know.
Something in the window. I don't know what it is.
Bro, how you do that? You get to where? Polar? Now what?
Yeah. No, you had a step is wrong.
Oh, it said it by itself. Fuck it.
I'm gonna change the step to.
So why did I get it live? You guys figure out
No,
how to
I'm gonna
do
change the
polar-
step to.
No, it's not working, bro.
The circle.
I'm
How'd you do that?
Marco, you just like trying.
I actually don't know. I'm sorry, I can't figure out.
Beta.
Can somebody figure out the TI-84?
Um,
But if you do on decimal, it's gonna be circle.
oh,
Can I see
What?
it? Yeah.
Graph on decimals.
I don't know how this calculator works.
I just I don't know.
Do I get this?
no idea.
So let's talk about auto strategy, okay? Let me review auto strategy is how do you convert. So this is our pre-calc. We're not doing anything with calculus today, just review. Okay, so let's review everything. Do you know how to convert polar coordinate to rectangular coordinate? Rectangular to polar. Draw out which quadrant is, you can decide which angle is. Because if you don't draw out, you don't know what your angle is. Because you got two choices. Like if I have tangent theta equal to square root 3, I have two choices. You have to pick the right choice. Is that okay? So we did that. And we learn how to convert the r equal to 2. R is equal to x squared plus y squared. So I can square both sides. And I can get x squared plus y squared is equal to 4. I gotta convert circle. R equal to secant theta. I can change that to 1 over cosine theta. I can move the cosine theta to the other side. That becomes x equal to 1. I also can do this one here. Tangent both sides. Remember, I'm just using the equation that gave to me. I'm going to get tangent theta is equal to tangent pi over 3. Then it's going to be square root 3. And then tangent theta is equal to y over x. So move the x to the other side. Y equal to root 3x. Is that okay? Now, lastly, we have this. You want to have 2 birds, 1 stone. Because the other side has r. If you move to the other side, it doesn't make r cosine theta. It doesn't make r secant theta, which is that's not one thing. And you don't want to square both sides because if you square both sides, although you're going to get r squared, but on the other side, it's going to be 36 cosine square theta. That's not a good choice because we can multiply by r on both sides, just like Devin suggested. And then I can get negative 6 r cosine theta equal to negative 6x. And you can convert that to the things. Okay. We're going to do the last two. How do we convert x plus y equal to 5 to polar? Any suggestions? Any suggestion? How do I convert this to polar? Can I just replace the x with the y? Plus r what? Can I factor out an r? Can I solve for r? So this is how you draw x plus y. It's more complex. But it can be done. I'm gonna do one last one really quickly. So x minus 1 square plus y square equal to 1. So what do I do to convert the r equal to? What do I convert this x equal to do? R cosine theta, right? Minus 1 square plus, what's this one? R sin theta, good, is equal to 1. Can I distribute it? If I distribute it, I'm going to get r squared cosine squared theta minus 2 r cosine theta plus 1. plus r squared sine squared theta is equal to 1. Can I subtract 1 on both sides? And can I get r squared cosine theta minus 2r cosine theta plus r squared sine theta is equal to 0? No? What do you see here?
Oh, can you make them all once cosine? 1 minus cosine?
Can you see what this? R squared cosine theta, r squared sine theta is what?
1?
It's 1, so that should be r squared minus 2r cosine theta, right? Can I factor out r? So I hear r equal to 0. This is not right. R equal to 2 cosine theta. This is the right one. Because the other one is not represent the circle equation. That's r equal to 0. It's kind of like
Oh,
extraneous.
0 doesn't do it.
R equal to 0 is just a single point, right?
Yeah.
Does not represent a circle.
It's not-
So we know how to convert from polar to rectangular, rectangular polar. Huh?
So that's
Yes.
that's the polar function, 2 cosine theta?
Yeah. If you grab 2 cosine theta, just like last one, it's gonna be a circle shifting right 1 unit.